Hello, I'm Scott. I'm the breathing guy. I will train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activities. This video series is tennis serve mechanics, and I'm going to address the lower body, the footwork. What does footwork mean? And amplify the rotational force going into your hands. This is a very valuable lesson in the sense of what footwork can do for you and what most people do and don't do, and what is the most effective footwork. Well, if you look at most pros, what they're doing when they serve, always look at the left foot, the lead foot, and watch the toes. They're a little bit of angle, and when they come up and they're hitting, the jump and the foot toe is always pointed in the direction they want the ball to go. What point on the, if you want to say, does it want to go? The problem with the way they do it now, they start here, and then they jump up, lean back, and they've actually neutralized the hip rotational momentum force that can be transmitted up the body, through the shoulders, into the racket, to the hands, so the hands can amplify with the snap. The whole function of the body is to bring force to the hands, and the hands convert that force into the racket itself with a snap involved. So how do you increase your hip rotational force is the name of the game. And the thing you do is remember, wherever the left toe is pointed is where your energy wants to go in the serve. In walking, you want your toes pointed in the direction. When your toes are out like this, you're actually weak. And your toes like you got balance. So this is my suggestion. You can test it. You can watch all these, all the pros, everyone. When they're hitting that ball, that left foot, in fact, virtually both feet are going in the direction of where they want the ball to go across the court. So what would if you do this? In the beginning, point the toe where you want the ball to reach. This is a way of incorporating hip rotational force that can be transmitted up the body with the shoulder rotational force to increase so the hands can move faster. And then you have the finger ergonomics to snap it. So if you can test this, some used to do this, and right before they serve, they turn their toe, then hit. I want you to keep your hip there. When you try this, your toes pointing in the direction, and more you bring that right foot back, it's creating torque, it's creating muscle tension, and it wants to spring back into form. This is making your lower body, the hip rotation, a dynamic force in your serve. And there's many ways to execute this, so don't be limited to what this is showing. But the whole point is, if you point your toe of your left foot there, and then you shape your body around, your hips around, to create the rotation. And there's many levels. When you're young, you can go really far back. Aim at your target, bring your foot back like this, and then you can just let the hip rotate into it. If you're not as agile and you're older and you still want rotational force, you don't have to go to that extreme. Just point your toe, put your foot back, and see how my angle of this foot here, you know, it's a little slight out open. It's a little bit, that creates an torque, and then you can actually push off, bring your knee to the other foot. The whole idea of the knee pointing in the direction where you want this to go. That's the other point. But you're using the shoulder rotation, so you can actually create great separation, and then bring that knee pointed across court, so it's even with that toe. That's what you want. If you look at most serves, when they jump up, the feet are apart, they're together. You watch some of the best pros, when they get up in the air, where that left toe, in fact, both toes are pointed, is across where they want the ball to go. But they lose all hip rotational force. And I'm trying to get where it's more fluid, so you have a better game. You don't have to go to that extreme to really get. But this is a lower body video series of how do you incorporate the hip rotational force? How do you create it? How do you direct your hand to the target point across the court. That's the key. It all has to mechanically flow together if you want the best performance that you can produce based on your talent, skills, and strength. Your body is your body. How you shape your body determines how much force can you project into the racket. Then how to incorporate. Now breathing. Remember, when you're doing this, make sure the hips are slightly tipped forward and you push your belly button out a little, tighten down here, that locks the hips in place. You can still breathe up here, move the diaphragm, but don't move down here once you lock the hips up. But point that left toe at the target, then you can get a little bit, but the whole goal of the right side is having that knee throwing that racket forward to the point where you want it. If you don't believe me, try this. Make your knee go to the sideways, out to the side, and your hand wants to go that direction. But if you make that knee swing through, you can really create a very good snap within a very tight area. You don't. But this is about shoulder, hip rotation and and the right knee coming together so everything's aligned in one direction is the idea here. And if you incorporate the upper body rotational force that I in the other videos, where you bring your other finger like that at the same time, the force you can bring to the hands is really awesome, which has the least resistance. It's more natural, it flows. And your hands going straight over, not tilted aside. You can even do it to your side if you want to go to that extreme to get that extra 2 inches for your shoulder. That's why you turn to go aside, because your shoulder comes up and you got 2 more inches up on the racket. And for some people that make a difference. But if you got a really powerful serve and you can get over the net, you can manipulate it more, put a better spin, work the ball, not use the body as a contortion for your serve, you'll get better performance, I argue. Working the ball with the racket. So the more fluid you can, the more you can bring it to your hands, then let the hands do this, do that in the grip way, use your racket. That is my argument for that. But creating hip rotation and using the left toe and the right knee is the key element for greater rotational force of the body going to the hands for a hand snap. This is tennis serve mechanics. It's the lower body hip rotational force using the left toe and the right knee to point that right hand right to the point where you want to go. But most people don't. They have it like this. Now, aim it first. Then contort your body so your hip can rotate into it. And it doesn't take much, believe me. You point it across there, you can just go like this. And then heel. If you're my age or old, younger, that's right. If you're my age or younger, you can just bring your foot where your right foot brings the other knee together, and your body, your hand, your shoulder go right in that direction. If you want to say the right knee determines the direction of the shoulder, right there. Why contort your body every way possible, where everyone knows where you're going to put the ball in that little area on the other side of the net. So please understanding that you have to use the left toe aims it, and the right foot brings, or if you want to say the right knee using the hips for hip rotation, brings the shoulders around at the target point. Test it. Number one rule, everything I show you, go slow. Pause. You can actually pause at some point and adjust your shoulders, soften your shoulders down, just to feel how that works, different stages. How you develop these techniques or incorporate them into your natural swing now, or you can make a whole new fresh start. That's your choices. But this is the lower body. This is using the left toe for aiming and the right knee, right foot and knee to bring the right shoulder and hand to the target.